When my wife and I had our first baby, her mother moved in just for a month to help. She took over the nursery, demanded rent for childcare services, and called me lazy for taking paternity leave. One night, I heard her on the phone saying, "I don't trust him with money. I'm working on getting her out." I showed my wife. She said, "She's just protective." 2 days later, my bank account was frozen. She'd reported me for fraud under my own address. I never expected the worst betrayal of my life to come from a woman in orthopedic slippers. It started last August, right after Paige and I had our first baby. Our daughter, Lila, came into the world after a 16-hour labor and an emergency C-section. Paige was exhausted, pale, and barely able to sit up. I was scared, excited, and ready to do whatever it took to support her. I'd saved up PTO and my job let me stack some unpaid time too, so I arranged for a 6-week paternity leave. My plan was to stay home, help with Lila, handle the cooking and cleaning, and just be there. First-time parent stuff. On day 2 after we got home from the hospital, Paige's mom showed up. Not for a visit. She showed up with 2 suitcases and a covered dish and said, "Don't worry, I'm just here for a month to help out." It was never about helping. Her name is Donna. She's one of those people who always makes herself the center of attention. Not loud, but controlling. Subtle jabs. Backhanded compliments. Paige used to warn me, she has strong opinions. That was putting it mildly. At first, I told myself it was fine. Donna was Paige's mom, and Paige was still recovering. She needed support. I figured we'll grit our teeth and get through this month. Donna took the guest room at first. Within 3 days, she said the mattress was unbearable and that she needed to be near the baby. So she moved into the nursery. Claimed the glider chair, moved her suitcases in, and said it made more sense. Paige was so tired she didn't want to argue. I didn't either. We moved the bassinet into our bedroom and gave her the nursery. But that was just the start. She called me lazy for taking leave. By the 2nd week, Donna started making comments. "Oh, so you're still off work?" she'd say while walking by with a burp cloth. "Must be nice to get a paid vacation for doing nothing." When I was up changing diapers or making bottles, she'd sigh dramatically and say, "In my day, the man went to work and the woman handled the baby. That was normal." I tried to ignore it, but she kept escalating. One night, while I was holding Lila, she walked by and muttered, "She's going to grow up thinking her father's a housewife." She wanted $500 a week. For watching her granddaughter midway through the 2nd week, she cornered me in the kitchen and dropped a bomb. "I think it's fair if you two start paying me. I've basically been providing full-time childcare." I thought she was joking. I laughed. She didn't. "I'm serious," she said. "I could be working. My time is valuable. And I've saved you from having to hire a night nurse." I was stunned. "You're her grandma." "Yes, and grandmas deserve respect. And compensation." I told her no. Paige wasn't in the room. That night, Donna brought it up in front of her. "Sweetie, I was just telling your husband that I need to be paid. This is labor. I'm exhausted." He laughed in my face. Paige looked uncomfortable. "Maybe just a small amount?" she said, trying to keep peace. I felt like I was losing control of my own house. I caught her whispering 3 weeks in. Things were tense. I was counting down the days until she'd leave. But then one night, I got up to heat a bottle around 1:30 a.m. I walked past the nursery and heard Donna talking softly. Her door was cracked open. I stopped. I don't even know why. Maybe I sensed something. She was on the phone, whispering, "I don't trust him with money. He's not responsible. I'm working on getting her out. Paige doesn't see it yet, but I'm making progress." My stomach dropped. I backed up and hit record on my phone. I got about 40 seconds of her talking about me like I was some dangerous outsider. Like I didn't belong in my own home. I showed Paige. And she defended her the next morning. I showed Paige the recording. She went pale. Then she said, "She's just protective. That's how she is. She didn't mean it like that." I looked her dead in the eyes. "She said she's working on getting you away from me. She just wants to make sure I'm safe. She doesn't think you're a bad person." I felt like I was going insane. Then my bank account got frozen 2 days later. I went to buy groceries. My card got declined. I thought it was fraud. So I called the bank. The rep told me my account had been frozen due to a fraud complaint. They said the complaint had been filed by a co-resident. Guess who had recently been added as my wife's emergency contact on her hospital paperwork? Donna. She'd used my address, claimed she was concerned about unauthorized transactions and financial abuse. I lost it. I called my bank manager directly. I had to send proof of ID, copies of my statements, and even my marriage certificate to clear it up. I realized then I was under attack. I started planning her removal that night. I opened a new bank account at a local credit union. I had my direct deposit changed. I took screenshots of all texts, emails, and voicemail. I downloaded the audio of her whispering. I made backups. Then I called my cousin Matt, who works in real estate. He pulled my deed. The house was in my name. I bought it 2 years before I met Paige. It was never transferred, not jointly owned. That mattered. Then I called a family lawyer. He said, "Start documenting everything and keep her away from your accounts." The breaking point, I gave Paige one final sit down. I laid it all out. She's not just annoying. She's dangerous. She filed a fake fraud report. She's been living rent-free, demanding money, trying to kick me out of my own house. Paige broke down. She said she felt stuck, confused, and scared to confront her mom. I told her, if she's not gone by Friday, I'll file a restraining order. Friday morning came. Donna was still here, still sleeping in the nursery, still acting like she ran the place. That afternoon, I came home from the store and found Paige crying in the bedroom. Donna had told her I was threatening legal action against family and that it was a red flag for abuse. I couldn't believe it. She said, "I'm scared of you," Paige whispered. She said, "You're trying to isolate me." That's when I realized this wasn't just about the house. Donna wanted Paige to believe she was in danger. She wanted her to see me as the enemy, so she could take control. I told Paige calmly, "She's using fear to control you. That's abuse, not what I'm doing." Paige didn't answer. The next day, I got a letter. Certified mail. It was from Child Protective Services. Someone had anonymously reported that our daughter was at risk due to an unstable home environment and that the father is exhibiting controlling and hostile behavior. I knew exactly who it was. Donna didn't even bother to hide it. When I asked her straight up, she smirked and said, "Sometimes a mother has to do what's right, even if it's hard." I felt like I was going to explode. I called our lawyer. We provided proof of the false claims, the financial sabotage, and the audio recordings. CPS dropped the case within days. They saw it for what it was. But I wasn't done. I filed a petition for a no-contact order. I attached everything. The fraud report, the fake CPS claim, the rent demands, the audio of her scheming to get Paige out, and I filed for an emergency removal order. Since she wasn't a tenant and never paid rent, she had no legal right to stay. The sheriff showed up that Tuesday. Donna screamed when she saw the papers. "You ungrateful bastard! After all I've done for you." She turned to Paige, expecting backup. But Paige was silent. Then, quietly, she said, "Mom, I think you need help." Donna's face went blank. For a second, I thought she was going to faint. Then she grabbed her bags and started throwing things into them, muttering about betrayal and how we'd regret this. She left the house that afternoon. But it still wasn't over. 2 weeks later, we got hit with a custody petition. Donna had filed in county court, claiming that Paige was mentally compromised from postpartum depression and that I was emotionally abusive and financially controlling. She was trying to get emergency custody of Lila, our baby. She used Paige's old medical records, dug up every vague social media post she could find, twisted everything. We had to appear in court. I'll never forget the moment the judge looked at her and said, "This filing appears retaliatory. I'm dismissing it." Donna stood there, frozen, lips tight. No apology. No shame. We thought we'd finally gotten through the worst of it. The custody case got thrown out, the no-contact order was in place, and for a few weeks it felt like we could breathe again. But Donna wasn't finished. Even without access to our house, she found ways to cause chaos. Fake Facebook accounts popped up, ones that posted vague, dramatic stories about a young mother being controlled by her abusive husband. People in our town started talking. Paige got nasty DMs from strangers. I got emails from people accusing me of being a manipulator hiding behind lawyers. Donna had launched a smear campaign, and some people were actually believing it. Around this time, Paige reconnected with an old friend from college, Lexi. They hadn't talked in years, but Lexi messaged out of the blue. Heard about everything. You okay? They started texting daily. Paige said it helped her feel normal again. At first, I didn't think much of it. But then Lexi showed up at our house. She said she was just passing through, but she had 2 suitcases and nowhere to stay. Paige looked surprised but didn't say no. I wasn't thrilled. One houseguest had nearly destroyed our lives. Now we had another one. But Lexi was different, friendly, helpful, calm. Still, something felt off. One night, Lexi left her phone on the kitchen table while she took a shower. A text popped up. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the name on the screen stopped me cold. Mom, Donna. I picked up the phone. The message said, he's starting to get suspicious. I'll push harder tomorrow. My blood ran cold. When Lexi came back, I confronted her. She froze, then tried to lie, said Donna was her landlord and that it was just a joke. I told her to get out. Immediately. Paige was in shock. Lexi had been feeding Donna information the whole time. About our routines. Our mental states. Even where we kept our legal files. After Lexi left, I got paranoid. I checked everything. Our devices. Our router. Even Paige's car. And under the rear bumper, taped up near the exhaust pipe, I found it. A small black box. GPS tracker. Paige turned pale. She didn't even know what she was looking at. I took it straight to the police. They opened an investigation into stalking and harassment. The detective didn't say her name, but he didn't have to. Donna had escalated again. As of now, Donna is under active investigation for multiple counts. False CPS report, fraudulent bank activity, and unlawful surveillance. The no-contact order was extended. We've added Paige to it now with her full agreement. But here's the twist. Donna hired a new lawyer. One of those TV commercial lawyers from out of town. And she's countersuing for emotional distress caused by malicious slander. She's claiming we made everything up. The court date is set in 2 weeks. The day of the hearing felt more like a standoff than a trial. Donna sat across the aisle from us wearing a gray suit and pretending to look small and fragile. Her new lawyer stood tall beside her like this was just another case to win. I came in with a folder thick with evidence. Paige was next to me, silent but strong. We were tired, worn down, but ready. The judge was a sharp woman in her 50s. No nonsense. She made it clear right away that she'd reviewed everything: bank reports, police findings, the CPS closure notice, and the tracker evidence. But Donna still tried to play innocent. She's my daughter, she said. I was only trying to protect her. The judge cut her off. You filed a fake fraud report. You reported your own son-in-law to child services with no evidence. You planted a tracking device. That is not protection. That is harassment. Donna's face didn't move. The judge dismissed Donna's counter-lawsuit for emotional distress in under 3 minutes. Then she granted a full 5-year restraining order against Donna for both Paige and me. No contact. No phone calls. No third-party messaging. She also ordered Donna to pay our legal fees in full. But the big blow came next. The police filed misdemeanor charges against her for filing a false CPS report and stalking. Nothing major, but enough to stain her clean record. Enough to make future courts think twice before believing her lies again. As she was led out of the courtroom, Donna turned to Paige and said, "You've been brainwashed." Paige didn't respond. The trial was over. Donna was gone from our lives. But the fallout stuck around. Some people in town still whispered. Some believed the drama, thought maybe we'd overreacted. Paige lost a few friends who were closer to her mom than to her. She also admitted something I hadn't known. She told me I was a bad mom, Paige said one night. Every single day while you were at the store or asleep. She said I was weak, that I'd ruin Lila's life. Paige cried when she told me that. And I felt a cold, quiet anger I hadn't felt in months. I had let Donna into our home. Trusted her. Gave her a chance. And she used it to break her own daughter down. After everything settled, I mailed Donna a letter. No threats. No curses. Just a photo of our happy, smiling daughter in her birthday dress. I wrote one sentence. She's safe now and she will never know you. No return address. No signature. Just closure. I made mistakes too. I let Donna stay too long. I stayed quiet to keep peace. I should have acted sooner. Paige made mistakes. She ignored the signs, doubted me, let her mom walk over our marriage. But we learned. And we grew. Now, we never let anyone in without boundaries. We speak up even when it's hard. And we protect each other, always. Donna thought she could take over, thought she could control our lives with guilt and lies. She lost everything instead. Our home is peaceful now, quiet, full of baby laughter and warm meals. And Donna, last I heard, she was living in a trailer park 2 towns over, telling anyone who will listen that her daughter was stolen from her by a lazy, manipulative man. But nobody's listening anymore, and I sleep just fine.